coast must only be a couple of miles in diameter, but one can get lost there too, amid crazy alleyways of bars and brothels and pirate tape shops, or along the crowded hillocks of sand patrolled by hawkers and deal-makers, and old women offering massages. The Balinese, remarkably adaptable, have simply severed Kuta Beach from the island, like amputating a limb, in their minds, of course. To go to Kuta Beach is, for a Balinese, to leave Bali. It is so simple. The real Bali, then, is to be found higher up, or further out, along narrow, winding roads, or in emerald rice paddies, or over on the destitute, lava-scarred eastern plain, where the tourists never go. In all these places that are really Bali, the watchful, angry mountain Agung dominates. There are other smaller mountains, Abang for the devout, Batur for tourists. But Agung is the mountain of the gods, fierce, unpredictable givers and takers of life. Everything depends on Agung, and everyone is situated by it. Not to know where you are, not to know where the mountain is. In Balinese there is a word for this, palang. To be palang is to be paralyzed. Not to be able to work or to dance or to sleep. Orientation and order are everything. Everyone has a place. Emmy Simpson Richmond, at 47 years of age, was palang. She stopped at the stall in the bend of the road and pointed at a bottle of 7-Up. She would have preferred a slice of green mango with salt, or rambutan, but there was none of the latter, and the mango was being sampled by 3 large black flies. Before Emmy could stop her, the woman stall-holder dunked a greasy glass in the drum of water at her side to rinse the dust, and poured the soda into it. The woman was smiling. It would have been rude not to accept, but Emmy wasn't pleased. Her stomach had been holding out so well despite everyone's warnings, and it seemed a shame to risk it for a drink she didn't really even want. Thick and sweet and fizzy, the 7-Up sucked any moisture she had left in her mouth as it went down. She turned her back on the woman and the stall as she drank, looking instead at the great drop on the far side of the road and the view beyond. She was halfway between Penilohan and Kintamani, or so she thought, having decided to walk the 8 kilometres rather than pay the cost of a hotel room to ride in a Bemo bus. The drivers had laughed at her, and it was true. She now worried that she wouldn't get to Kintamani until after dark. Already the sun was falling low in the sky. She was looking at 2 mountains, Batur and Abang, different worlds on either side of a lake. The lake had glistened earlier, but now emanated darkness, as though, with the passage of the sun, the spirits rose from its depths to skim across the surface. Batur, directly in front of Emmy, was how she imagined hell to be. A barren, blackened cone of lava, rising in relentless symmetry from the lake's west shore. Nothing grew on its slopes, except the curving tracks where tourists passed daily to the summit. Emmy hadn't been there and would not go, but she could imagine the soft black sand and hard black rock against which the climbers had to struggle without a single shrub for shade. To the east of the lake rose Abang, or what one could see of it. All afternoon, although the sky had been otherwise unblemished, a hazy cloud mass had shrouded the holier of the 2 mountains. Abang was said to be lush with vegetation, a tropical rainforest even, and in the wet season inundated with spilling rivers that prevented climbers from reaching the ancient temple at the top. Now, however, in the drier months of June and July, Balinese and some Javanese students made pilgrimages to the temple to make offerings and to pray. Emmy was determined to make the climb. Very few tourists did, although Emmy wasn't sure why not. No doubt the Balinese were more reluctant to take tourists there than to Batur. The Balinese, Emmy had discovered, had a strong sense of the sacred. A Frenchman in her losmen in Chandidasa, a man alone like herself, and with the same forlorn air of one suddenly deserted by life, had given her the name of a flute-playing guide in Kintamani, who would, the man promised, take her wherever she wanted to go. Which is how Emmy found herself at this bend in the road, an untold...